cry. Sometimes I wonder why it takes so long for evil men to die. But I want you to know that when you go, you won't be missed. And the ground where you'll lay, we're all gonna take a big giant piss. And for your end, we all anticipate, without any love and too exhausted to hate. Your long-lasting legacy will be one of disgrace and shame. Throughout the annals of history, your name will shrink, you'll lose your fame. And as you lay there drawing in your final breath, just know that you made us happiest in death. You will not be thought of kindly, and you won't be missed. And like I said before, on the ground you'll lay, I'm gonna take a big old piss.
It's not hard to imagine Donald Trump leading us into a war just because somebody got under his very thin skin. Donald Trump's ideas aren't just different, they are dangerously incoherent. They're not even really ideas, just a series of bizarre rants, personal feuds, and outright lies. This is not someone who should ever have the nuclear codes, because it's not hard to imagine Donald Trump leading us into a war just because somebody got under his very thin skin. We cannot put the security of our children and grandchildren in Donald Trump's hands. We cannot let him roll the dice with America. This is a man who said that more countries should have nuclear weapons, including Saudi Arabia. He believes we can treat the U.S. economy like one of his casinos and default on our debts to the rest of the world, which would cause an economic catastrophe far worse than anything we experienced in 2008. He says he doesn't have to listen to our generals or admirals, our ambassadors and other high officials, because he has, quote, a very good brain. He praises dictators like Vladimir Putin and picks fights with our friends, including the British Prime Minister, the Mayor of London, the German Chancellor, the President of Mexico, and the Pope. He says he has foreign policy experience because he ran the Miss Universe pageant in Russia.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time, oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time, gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see, are we on? Am I all hooked up? Let's see. Good morning, everybody. Let me just check my volume here. Good morning. Let's see, are we on? Looks like it's working. Green light's on. All righty, good morning. It is 9:19 a.m. in the Pacific time zone here in beautiful Las Vegas. It's currently, I think, only 64 degrees. Make that 69. 69 degrees here. I know all you people where your minds are always in the gutter. I know where you went with that one. Thumbs up from Aaron. Aaron was first, by the way, today. We got Aaron in here. Paul Burrows is here. Doug. Hello, Doug. It says Eminem. I don't know what that's about. Suzanne Jones was here, maybe left, maybe here, maybe was here earlier. Because Susie said I had to be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. Susie said I'll be back in a little while. I'll be back. I did do just a short intro. I didn't really have time to make something, and I threw my song. I hope you guys like my new AI song that I wrote the lyrics for, and Suni helped me write the music. You know, I never realized, because I kind of use this Suni and the AI stuff to make songs, because I guess I always kind of wanted to be like in a band. I always wanted to have my own band, and I always, you fantasize. You know how you fantasize. And I never ever, I don't think I ever fantasized myself as being like a country singer. It was always, like a rock. I was going to be the next, not that I could play, but like Eddie Van Halen. But I was going to have a band like Van Halen. I was going to have a rock band in my fantasies. But it seems like most of my songs that I make on these AI, I like the country versions of them the best for some reason. So anyhow, that's a country version there, and it's I hope you guys like that song. It's about, I guess, what we might do when a certain thing happens to a certain person, how we might feel. Hey, Liberal Dan's here. Good to see Liberal Dan. Thanks for coming on in. I appreciate you. Anamore says I saw it. Oh, so I guess Anamore, because I did do a premiere just a few minutes ago, and it looked like no one watched it, but Anamore saw it, so that's good. Thank you, Anna, for watching. Let's see. MJ Daniel from up there in Washington State is here. Hey, MJ, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Anna Moore's here. Danny Pomeroy. Hey, Danny, good to see Danny. Thanks for coming on in. Paul Brills, I woke up not dead again this morning. That's always a good thing, I guess, huh? I guess. DPD 5844 is here. Hey, DPD, good to see you. Doug says it's 79 degrees in Michigan. So that sounds like a nice day, because it's already like noon back there, right? Liberal Dan, Trucker John, this song is already great. Well, I'm glad you liked it. At least one person liked it. Well, Anamore liked it. So I guess we got two people that liked it. Brooklyn says, how did everybody hear so fast? Oh, and perfect song. So I'm going to take that as three thumbs ups for the song. And if you didn't see it, you could either watch the beginning of this show, or you can go and I did. It was a premiere. Now it'll just be a regular video now. So, but there's the video of it that I have on there too. So. In fact, I feel like playing it again. It is kind of short. I'm always, my Suno songs, they kind of come out short. I'm always wondering if I should add more to them or put more music stuff in it to make it more, the traditional kind of 3-minute song. But I don't know. I guess it's good the way it is. Aaron West says Super Chat goal is up. LFG. Yeah, we got the goal. Got the goal going. You guys want to help out the show? Help us keep going and growing? We've got that goal for the Super Chats. Also, if you guys have a hype button, one thing you can do besides liking, subscribing, and sharing is if you can hit that hype button, and that'll help put us out in the algorithm, I guess, apparently. So they say. So if you have a hype button, do that. That would be awesome. Okay, I'm just scrolling down because I kind of lost my place here. Let's see. Who else we got in this old chat room? And more watching the intro on Hillary, it's like she's describing Trump in real time. Yeah, and that was from 2016. We've been saying this. Hillary was right. She was right all along. And it was 69 dudes. It's 69 dudes. Aaron has a therapy appointment in 40 minutes, but I'll be back. I'll be back. Another one who's going to be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. All right, we'll have a good therapy session. BFL Tunes. Hey, John, love the new song. Oh, good. That's like at least 4 now. Make sure you watch it, though, and give it a thumbs up. Paul Burrows says, due to the high cost of living, the sex position 69 will now be known as 96 due to the high cost of eating out. But Anna Moore says, I said it before, when this happens, or when that happens, I will be running down the street shouting, ding dong, the witch is dead. Now, I wanted to make an actual video for that, and I was working on that last night, and I was trying to find like an AI music video generator for free. And I went on one. I only went on one so far, and last night, I think it's called Freebeat. And so I put in all the prompts. I loaded up the song and everything, and so it started doing this thing like it was making a video, and then I just waited and waited and waited, and it never showed me the video. So I don't know if it's holding it hostage for money or what. But I was trying to, so I ended up just doing sort of that little slideshow, and I did make, and then the video sort of at the end, there's like the video of the people kind of dancing around the grave. That's what I got. Meta was able to make that for me. But Meta's kind of lame. I really don't like Meta, actually. But so I just sort of slapped together some, those little pictures of Trump looking all sleepy and half dead. And then the few clips I got from Meta. And then at the very end, the little Trucker John depiction of Trucker John that Fancy made. Because Fancy made, I gotta find out where Fancy and where Liberal Dan where you guys are getting your videos made. Well, that's what I should do. Why don't I just ask you guys? I should ask Fancy if you're watching, and Liberal Dan. Are you using Opus? How are you making your videos? And it's probably you're probably paying. I was trying to get away without paying, because right now, as you guys know, I'm really strapped for cash. We do have the GoFundMe thing still going if anyone's interested. And I'm sorry, I don't have links with me right now, but we still got that going. But yeah, I was just trying to find something free to generate some videos to make to make a little music video out of it. But anyhow, I slapped that together. William says, hello, Trucker John, and everyone else voted in PA Democratic primary today. Yay, William, good for you. Good for you getting out there voting. I know I've got my sample ballot in the mail, came the other day, and I got the sample ballot and the real ballot. In fact, it's right here. That's not it. Mine came in the mail a couple days ago. There it is. Oh, I probably should show that. I just doxed myself. I probably shouldn't have done that. But anyhow, yeah, I got my official sample ballot, and our voting, our early voting starts May 23rd through June 5th. Election day is June 9th for us here in Nevada. So I'm ready to go, ready and raring to vote blue. I'm going to vote blue. I'm not going to tell you, here's a new thing, I guess. I'm not going to tell you guys who to vote for, but I'm going to tell you who I'm going to vote for. I'm voting for Democrats. I'm going to be voting for Democrats because why? Because, like I've said, we need to vote every single Republican out of office. They have proven themselves time and time again. They can't govern. They cannot govern. All they can do is give tax breaks to the rich and strip away as many regulations as possible, because to them regulations is a 4-letter word. Hope I'm not slurping too loud in that. Michelle's here, says hello TJ, glad to see you, but I missed the intro. Hey, check out the intro. It's got the monkey. If you're looking for the video, it's got the monkey. It's the YouTube thing for like when something goes wrong. I just put that as the thumbnail for some reason. I'll probably change that thumbnail. But when you do see the intro, or if you do see my new video with that has my new song on it, I hope you like it. John Glad's here. John says, "Trust in the Lord." Okay. Always glad to see John Glad in the driver's lounge. Vanessa Truck John, I am using Opus. I have a referral code if you want to purchase. Yeah, that's right. You do have a referral code. Can you send it to me or whatever? I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to, in fact, I don't even know if I can afford anything, even if it's only like $9 or whatever right now. But I use Opus, but I've been using the free version. So I only get, I think you get 60 little tokens or whatever they call it, like a month. And I'll do clips for one show, and that'll pretty much, I think I can get, I could probably get a couple shows out of that, for clips. But yeah, give me that referral code. At some point, I might try Opus. Paul Burrow says Idaho is voting today. DPD says it's good to be back. I had to make a cup of tea. Josh says now we can mail TJ some stick-on costume. I know. I almost feel like I have to go back and edit that out. Yeah, Aaron says you might want to go back and take this down. Yeah. I showed my address like a dummy, didn't I? Damn. Well, it's not like anybody watches. I mean, it's only 26 people watching, so I probably don't care if you guys have my address. But let's say if I had 100,000 viewers or 1 million, then I would be worried because out of that million, even if only 3% of the people watching are weirdos, like with evil intent, that's a lot of people. What's 3% of 1 million? It's got to be like 3 something. It's going to be something with a 3. Anyhow, Danny Palmer, John earned the right to complain all he wants. He voted. Well, I haven't voted yet. If you're talking about this John, I have not voted yet. Are you talking about Who's the ones that they voted? I don't know, but yeah, I have not voted yet. It hasn't started yet. Like I said, it starts on the 23rd. So Sharky Paul Mannion from across the pond. Yeehaw, Paul Sharky Mannion. Hey, thanks for being here, Paul. Paul Sharky Mannion says, howdy, TJ and truckers. Hope you're all doing well. I have not been well lately. I have a lump on my hip getting scanned on Thursday. Well, I hope that all goes well. Sorry to hear about not feeling well, and I hope the procedures go well and it's not too serious or whatever, or hope it all gets taken care of. Petrazi is here. Hey, Petrazi, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Oh, thanks for coming on into the driver's lounge. I really want to thank you for coming in the driver's lounge. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. It's 30,000. See, I knew it was something with a 3. I knew that was going to start with a 3. So if I had 1 million viewers and 3% were wacko weirdos, that would be 30,000 people I'd have to worry about. Hey, DPD, what's 3% of 27? It's not even a whole number, probably. I don't even know. If I got to, I'd much rather have to just worry about a fraction of a percentage of number than, what would you say, 30,000? Petrazi says, I voted when I got off work this morning. Good for you, Petrazi. Petrazi, I hope you voted blue. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I'm going to tell you who I'm going to vote for. It's going to be all blue up and down that ballot. It's going to be all blue. We're going to have a big, giant blue, giant tsunami, big, giant tidal wave of tsunami namis. We're going to have blue tsunamis. Where's my blue tsunami picture? There it is. There we go. Vote blue. We're going to vote blue. The blue wave, the big giant blue wave is going to be coming. It'll be a coming. That blue wave is a coming. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, that blue wave, she's a coming. Lordy, 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 we got a big old giant blue wave. Gotta wash those Republicans away. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Bring on the blue wave. Bring on the blue wave. Come on now. Come on now, everybody. Let's get that blue wave going. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you guys who to vote for, but I will tell you who I'm voting for. And if there's a D next to their name, and if we happen to get a couple of bad Democrats in there every now and then, well, then we'll just fucking primary their ass the next time or whatever, We need to get the majorities. We need to get those fucking majorities, man, in the House and the Senate. Wing, and I always forget how to pronounce your name, and I know you've told me how to pronounce that last name, and I always forget how to pronounce that last name. Wayne G. I'm gonna call you Wayne G. Wayne G says, hey, I'm working on my garden today. How I wish Harris were president or Biden or Obama. Hell, at this point, I'd be happy with Bozo the Clown. President Bozo. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. 100%, man. 100%. Brooklyn says, when you hear 28 knocks on the door, it's us. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on in. Make yourself cozy and comfortable. I got one couch and my bed, which I guess could double as a couch. And I got my chair here I'm sitting on. And we can all, what I don't know what we'd do. We could all have some coffee. I guess I'll make you some coffee. Daddy Pomeroy, you do vote every cycle, so yes. Oh, okay. I got you. I do. I do. I do. I do vote. I do vote every cycle. Thank you, Danny Pomeroy. I'll thank you very much. And I hope you vote. I hope we all vote. I hope we all exercise our rights to vote, because if we don't, there's a good chance you might lose that right. So fight for your rights to vote. Has everyone? I wonder, has anyone ever done a parody of, the Beastie Boys' "Fight for Your Right to Party"? I know vote doesn't really. That's kind of a hard one. Fight for your right to vote. But now we have to fight for our right to vote, because we see these skeezy, slimy, scuzzy, scummy Republicans taking away voting rights. Actually, taking away rights, hard-fought rights, and they're going around taking away these rights, taking away bodily autonomy, taking away voting. What the fuck is wrong with these Republicans, man? Oh, that's right. I think I alluded to it earlier, when all they do is they just work for the billionaires. Billionaires would like it if the only people that could vote were billionaires, white billionaires, or that. That's their wet dream, to just have white billionaires be the only ones who could vote. And then even that, they would probably just like it where they probably would fight amongst themselves and just want like one, like who's the richest could vote. So now we would just have Elon Musk, the South African who came here illegally, would be our decider. Josh C says, I got an AFM SAG after check in the mail for $57. I have no idea what it's for. Wow, what were you must have been in something. Josh C's. Always good to see Josh C's. Did you do some work with making a movie or something? A little something? Did you do some background work? Michelle says Trump gave himself $1.8 billion of our tax dollars. I would like to know how often he can do this. Okay, you're talking about the 1.7 billion, I believe it was, or maybe you're rounding up. Might have been 1.77. So yeah, was that a finalized deal? Was that finalized? Wasn't that where was that the settlement? Because he was suing the president of the United States was suing the U.S. government for $10 billion for whatever it was, leaking his tax records when he was president. It wasn't like this happened during Biden. Didn't happen during Obama. This happened when he was the fucking president. He sues the government for $10 billion. I was reading headlines and little blurbs, so I guess, but I don't know if that was finalized, if that was his offer, or was it finalized? $1.7 billion. Everyone's saying this is a slush fund. Oh, and I think he said he was going to use that money to distribute to Jan 6 rioters, Jan 6 insurrectionists, Jan 6 traitors to this country. He claims he's going to distribute that money to them, which I call bullshit on that too, because this guy giving money to anyone is like, the only person he gives money to is himself, for one thing. But even to just suggest that he would give money to these fucking traitors is infuriating. These were people that stormed the Capitol, injured to the point where there were resulting in deaths of officers, Capitol Police, and tried to stop and overturn a free and fair election of this country, really sort of the ultimate traitorous action you could do. And he's saying he wants to give these motherfuckers $1.7 billion. I don't know how many insurrections there were. That would probably be, millions of dollars each for each of them. That's pretty infuriating. DPD, it's 0.81. See, I told you, I might not be the smartest person, but just off the top of my head, I knew that was less than 1. I knew it was anyhow. So give me some kind of credit there. Leave Me Alone's here. Hello, Leave Me Alone. TSU nom nom nom. Tsunam nom. I don't know. Oh, tsunami. Okay, yeah, I think I was saying something like that. Okay, yeah, tsunam nom. A big old giant blue tsunami. We need that big giant blue wave. We need a few more like Mondani to send those Republicans away. Hey, man, if they wanted to change the Constitution so fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger could be president, I say we change the fucking Constitution so Zoran Mondani can be the fucking president. How you like that? How you like them? How you like them apples? If there's any maggots or right-wing nut jobs that happen to come in here, what do you think of them apples? That's right, I said it. Let's amend the Constitution so that foreign-born people who become U.S. citizens can be president. I'll vote for Zoran. I would vote for Zoran in a fucking heartbeat. The Z-Man. Sharky, I hope it washes the Crunt ballroom away. Yeah. Oh, 3% of 27 is 9. Oh. Now I'm all screwed up. Wayne G, Blue Tsunami. Blue Tsunami. Oh, we could do another parody of the Elvis song, Blue Hawaii. Could be. How did Blue Hawaii go? I don't even remember how Blue Hawaii went. But it was something about Blue Hawaii. Blue Hawaii. Blue wave. We'll have a blue wave in Hawaii. I don't know. I'm just being goofy. I'm really goofy today. I feel goofy. Do I look goofier? Do I look goofier than usual? I feel goofy. DPD says Louisiana's primaries will be November 3rd, 2026. November 3rd? The general election will be held on December 12th? Can they do that? Wait a minute. They can change the date of the general election? I thought the general election was like the general election. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I didn't know I knew they could do their primaries kind of like whenever they want. I didn't know they could just change the general election like that. But that just goes to show what I know. How much I know. Libertad says $10 billion, Dr. Evil Pose. $10 billion. Something like that. A little something like that. Goes a little something like this. $10 billion. Libertad says, but that was another Libertad high. That was another Libertad was right moment, basically settling for billion. Oh, yeah. Settling for $2 billion. Round it up. Danny Pomeroy says, laughing out loud, laughing my ass off. That's about as Putin as you can get. Clueless clubhouse trafficking, Madam Maxwell, PD files. Donald's friends, but there's 2 names in Epstein files are redacted. Well, why husband and wife? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know whose name. I don't know what 2 names are redacted. I think they redacted a lot of names. Paul Schrock, you got to go. Hope you're. Hey, I hope you have a good day, and hope everything works out with you for you on your doctor's appointments and things going on with you. Wayne G says it's back to the garden with me. All right, Wayne G, thanks for popping in, and thanks for putting up with me not knowing how to say your last name. DBD says the Jan 6 terrorists have become the orange pedophiles' personal paid for henchmen. Some of them have gone into become ICE officers. They've gone on to they've moved on from being just out and out insurrectionists and traitors to being ICE officers. I think some of them. Michelle taxed the billionaires. I believe so. I believe they should be taxed out of existence. We should have no billionaires. We should sure as fuck not have a trillionaire, which Elon Musk will be pretty soon, I think. Tax them out of existence. If you can't get by with like $100 million or $500 million, then that's on you, buddy. That's on you. I peopled yesterday. Hey, I peopled. Good to see you. It says, can Johnson refuse to seat new incoming House Dems if we win? No, not constitutionally. You cannot. You cannot refuse to seat the new incoming House. That whole thing is basically ceremonial. Anyhow, the new Congress will be seated. Liberty says, yes, the general election and open primaries for Louisiana has always been on the general election day. The general election and open primaries for Louisiana has always been on the general election day. That doesn't make any sense to me. Michelle says, Mike tried that with Arizona. Liberty on Chocolate. It's a runoff. So if a runoff is to take place, that runoff is in December. Louisiana's weird. I'm just gonna say it. Louisiana's weird, man. Why don't they just do instant runoff voting? Just save a bunch of money. Just have instant runoff voting. That's basically what What's the other name for it? Just she cut up. I did catch up. I did catch up. What did the father catch up say to the baby? No, wait, I'm not doing that joke right. Something about ketchup. He smushed them and said ketchup. There. I'm a good joke teller. It's like the baby, the dad mustard bottle turned around and the kid said ketchup. It's not. Uma Thurman does it better than me. Liberty says the closed primary for Louisiana's congressional elections was supposed to take place on Saturday, but they moved the election because of Louisiana versus Calais, and that requires open primaries. Louisiana rejects IRV because Republicans don't like people having more to say. They don't like when you got more to say. Well, you know what they say. If you don't like what I got to say, then catch up. No. Brooklyn, this is giving me a headache. Yeah, me too. Trying to tell jokes, it gives me a headache too. DBD says, "What's up with Mark Cuban? What a tremendous disappointment he has become, standing up there laughing and smiling at the orange pedophile." I'm equally as disgusted, DPD. I believe I am. And Mad Max, Slava Ukraini, thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Absolutely, Slava Ukraini. I lost all respect. Whatever respect I may have had for Mark Cuban, I lost that yesterday when I saw him go up there and shake hands and smile and say, he said something like, "Thank you, Mr. President," or some bullshit. And I'm like, motherfucker, you are just a money grubbing little fucking whore, just like all the fucking other billionaires. You're just money grubbing fucking whores. And I understand, okay, you want to make more money and you've got your good RX and you want to, and you're seeing this as a good opportunity, I guess, to get more traffic to your site, build up your site more, maybe in your mind, Mark Cuban, the Goober Cuban. Maybe you've justified it or rationalized it to say, well, this, I've got to deal with the devil here because this is going to help people because I can get cheaper medicine to them if they go through my site, hopefully, because basically this thing that Trump is brought out is it's just a landing spot that takes you to other links that already exist for these prescriptions and things. It's nothing new. It's just taking you to other sites that are already selling these health products, and they're not gonna be any discount. But yeah, the Mark Cuban thing, it was really disgusting, and I hope everyone gives him shit for it. At least everyone should be giving Mark Cuban shit for it, and just saying, "Man, dude, that was not a good look, man. That was not a good look." Yeah, hello, Brooklyn. Brooklyn, SJUAK, Trixie LaRue. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Brooklyn, as earlier, had seen the intro song there. Petrazi's Trump RX is a scam. Yeah, all it does is just takes you to other links. So if I watched, I was watching Howell yesterday and he showed it. It just takes you to like fucking Amazon or whatever, or to Walgreens and shit. So it's a typical scam, typical Trump scam. Anything he does is going to be a scam. Danny Pomeroy says Pulp Fiction had it in the movie. John Ketchup joke. Pete, go to Bible study. That was my Uma Thurman reference, Danny Pomeroy. If you heard me earlier, I did have a Uma Thurman reference, and that's exactly what I was referencing was Pulp Fiction, because Uma Thurman, if you recall, was in Pulp Fiction, and she's the one that said the joke. So I know that it was Pulp Fiction because I said the Uma Thurman thing. Anyhow, yeah. Yeah, it was like 7, 8, 9. Ketchup. I don't know. Petrazi. Yeah, Papa Tomato, Baby Tomato. Yeah, that was it. Apparently, Baby Tomato was a bit of a lagger. You don't want to be a lagger around Papa Tomato. MJ Daniel says Cuban was really pathetic. Yeah, absolutely pathetic. I mean, come on, man. Because wasn't earlier in the year or last year or in the recent history, haven't we seen a bunch of videos of Mark Cuban talking shit about Trump? Is Mark Cuban in the pedophile? Oh, in the pedophile files, in the Epstein files? Is that what's going on here? Did we just discover something? What the hell? Because I'm thinking, what the hell? Mark Cuban has talked a lot of shit about Trump. He said how Trump is stupid. That he's known him, and he said how stupid he is. And now all of a sudden he's kissing his ass. Is Mark Cuban in the Epstein files? I mean, what else are we supposed to think? You know, what are we supposed to think? What, you know, all of a sudden you're like kissing the guy's ass. What, just so your good RX could get some publicity here? I hope no one goes to Good RX. I hope no one goes to what's Trump's called, like Trump RX or some shit. I hope no one does that. Fuck that shit. Woke Mike is here. Hey, Woke Mike, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Anna Moore says, I always said, do not support any corporations that support Trump. I think that's wise. I think that's wise. It's Rosie. It's all about the money. Money, 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 money. It's all about the money. Show me the money. Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Money. It's always all about the money. Follow the money. Catch up. DPD says, oh, wait, everybody. It gets better. Jesse Waters believes, I heard Stephanie Miller talk about this this morning. Jesse Waters believes we African Americans need to procreate more since we only make up 15.2% of the population. See, he believes it guarantees us more votes. What the fuck? And then Jesse Waters will turn around and complain that black people, you know, are irresponsible, that they only want abortion because they just want to have sex, you know, or what. That's what, you know, Jesse. I'm not. This is what Jesse. I'm speaking as Jesse Waters right now, not as Trucker John. You know, he'll say, oh, you know. The black fathers are irresponsible and they just take off, they abandon their kids. So, you know, he'll say all of that shit. And then he'll say, oh, you guys need to have more kids, you know, or whatever. Okay, motherfucker. I could just hear a lot of black people going, okay, motherfucker. You want us to have more kids? We'll have more kids. But you know, all the white racist crackers, they really don't want more black people. They don't want more black people here. If it was up to them, they would ship every black person back to Africa. That's what they say. Don't they say that? They're like, go back to Africa. Even though it was us, the white cracker assholes, that brought them here. I didn't mean it like that, but brought the black people here. You know. So they're talking out both sides of their mouth. These Jesse Waters, he's a scumbag, and then I probably spent more time than he deserves. I've probably spent on talking about that guy. But that's what do they usually they'll say? You know, go back to Africa. And they would love nothing more than every single black person, even though their families have been here for generations and generations. Black people are more American than a lot of these white assholes because of helping their ancestors helping build this country, you know. But in their little cracker minds, they would love nothing more than every single black person, except for their favorite sports stars. Probably they would allow the sports heroes to stay here, but everybody else, Go back to Africa. So fuck you, Jesse Waters. And I hope black people just procreate the shit out of procreating, and Jesse Waters gets his wish, because you know Jesse Waters really doesn't want there to be more black people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He really doesn't want there to be more black people. So I hope the black people just really take him up on that. That's all. That's all I got to say about that before I somehow put my foot in my mouth. John Glass says depopulation is a mathematical certainty. Really? I didn't know that. Aaron West will be back. Have a good session. I think we might be modless today. I have not seen hide nor hair of Jolie. So good thing there's only 26 watching, and you guys are a pretty good bunch. So, but if you hit the like, subscribe, and share, and maybe that'd be nice too. Get some more people in here. We are at 4,455 subscribers. Trying to get to 5,000. You know what this means? For some reason, 5K Hennessy Day. 5K Hennessy Day. We're creeping up on it. 4,455. Mr. Spock. Live long and prosper. Yeah, I'm gonna someday get those fake eyebrows. Every time I see you, I'm like, damn it. Anyhow, Mr. Spock, I thought the politically correct term was honky. Honkies, crackers, white assholes, whatever. Deputy ad tap dancing Clarence Thomas. Yeah. Honky? Mad Max says Aaron is here, TJ. Oh, I just thought I saw Aaron. Oh, wait. Oh, well, it says I'll be back. I'll be back. So I took that to mean that Aaron left to go to her, whatever, therapy session or something. John Glad, with this phone I can't like. Darn phone. You need to get you a phone with a like button. Christina Weidel's here. Hello, Christina Weidel. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. But yeah, we're just talking, for those of you who just come in, we're just talking about this bullshit of Trump and his $177 billion slush fund. Mark Cuban proving himself to just be a typical billionaire douchebag. I think I've seen at least 3 or 4 videos over the last couple of years of Mark Cuban talking shit about Donald Trump. And now here he is smiling and shaking hands, and all just to promote his good RX bullshit. So what are you going to do? What are we going to do? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to vote. We're going to bring on the big blue wave, hopefully. Now, I was looking at, I thought I had another meme. I'm not sure if I've already shown this one or not. What does this one say? I was trying to read it before I post it because I don't remember if I've already. So hard to read it here. Let's see. I'm just seeing if this is worth me posting it or not. Let's see. What's it say? It says Trump wants Jimmy Kimmel fired for a joke. I want Trump fired. No, I want Trump fired for God, it's so hard to read. All right, let me post it. I guess I'll post it. I'll post this meme. Something to look at. Give us something to look at here. Trump wants Jimmy Kimmel fired for a joke. I want Trump fired for, oh, there it is, for grape. I guess I have to say grape. Abuse, fraud, theft, corruption, and dereliction of duty. There you go. Let's put that up for a little while. Yeah, Trump is so incensed. And really, his getting mad at Kimmel and Colbert, it's because through their comedy, they are speaking the truth. And Trump doesn't like to be called out for the things that he's done. And he has, it's not just having a thick skin. It's really, he's, I guess if you were guilty of these things, of course you would want people to shut up about it. So he's trying to shut up. He's trying to hide and keep the truth from coming out in every way that he can. He'll, even to the point where he'll start a war about it, or to cover it up, or to distract from it. How we got here, man, this is so crazy, right? To elect Donald Trump a second time, I still don't get people. I don't get it, man. I mean, I could get how, I guess, the crazy right wing nut jobs that were the Tea Party and that are now MAGA. Okay, I get that, but I don't know how a majority of the voters, or enough voters, could vote him in. It's still mind-boggling. We have this grapist, because I think all grapes should be treated with respect. You should always ask a grape if you could have permission to eat it. No non-consensual grape eating. But to have this slug as our president twice, okay, I could chalk up the first one. Okay, people were stupid and ignorant, but there's no excuse for the second time, because you've all seen what he did the first time. Did you not see? Did you Trump voters not see how he intentionally fucking mishandled? How am I supposed to? I'm not sure if I can. Can I say it? Can I say COVID-19 without getting in trouble? There's so many weird things I can't. I'm not sure, but everybody saw how fucked up he was in his first term, right? So why would 75 million motherfucking people vote for this motherfucker? And I know Mad Max is going to go, John, Trucker John, you know why? Or because they didn't. It was all fixed, or Elon Musk was flipping votes or something with his spy tech or something. I don't know. Christina Weibel says Mark Cuban is a turncoat, just like Fetterman. Just like Fetterman. Oh, Fetterman. Oh, Fetterman. Anybody remember, was it Jack Benny? Oh, Rochester. Oh, Fetterman. Mad Max, smoke weed and prosper. Woke Mike's seen it. What'd you see? What'd you see, Woke Mike? I don't even know. I don't even know what you saw. Christina Weibel says Dinky's trying to get out of paying E. Jean Carroll. Of course he is. I think he's paid her. I think she's gotten maybe a few million out of it so far. I think the judgment was 80. Was it up to 83 million that he owes her? If he's really a multi-billionaire, the 83 million should be pocket change. But you know. DPD says, did anyone ever watch the movie Watermelon Man? I highly encourage everyone to check it out. It's about a white racist insurance salesman who wakes up black. I believe I saw that. Is that, what's his name? Godfrey Cambridge or Godfrey, God forbid, God, whatever. I think this is from the 60s or early 70s, this movie. The guy whose name I'm butchering was like a stand-up comedian, I believe. And I did see it. It's probably been 50 years since I've seen it. But yeah, and that's a good one to go back and watch. John Glad, treason. Treason is the reason for the season. Look, Mike, the Titanic had a ballroom and it sank. Well, the ship sank. The ballroom just was part of the ship. Christina Weibel says, I've seen it. It's a good movie. The Watermelon Man. Watermelon Man. Josh C says, comedians are too smart, so he doesn't like them. He doesn't like being called out for the shit that he's guilty of. He has a really guilty conscience. So when Kimmel and Colbert, they call all that shit out, and it is like the Barbra Streisand effect. He's bringing more attention to it than if he just would let it go. You know what I mean? Mad Max says, I sure hope that 1.8 billion he wants to give to J6 traders to the USA backfires big time. Bigly. Me too. I hope but he says he's going to give that money to them, but we'll see if he even gives it any money out. He might, he's a real, he's got those dinosaur hands, arms when it comes to like grabbing the bill. He doesn't like to pay anything out, so we'll see if he's going to bullshit those people. Those people. Christopher Weibel says he's building the bunker, not the ballroom. He's planning on not leaving in 2029. Like I said before, just lock him in there. Then just let him stay in there. And in a few years, we'll burst in there and we'll find his dead corpse. Christina Weibel says, my sister still supports the pedo and she voted for him. Some people they're just gone. They're just so far gone. I guess I could never be convinced because they'll say, oh, it was all these charges and accusations are all just fake and people are just coming at him because they hate him and they're trying to ruin his name. They'll say it's all trumped up charges, no pun intended. They just won't believe. Christina, well, now we have Ebola and hantavirus. I know all these viruses coming around, and I'm like, oh my god. Under any other president, I would feel, a lot safer. Like, okay, we're going to handle these things and lock this shit down. But with Trump, he's like I said, he's got this track record that he says he intentionally mishandled COVID, but also I think he's also just an idiot too. And did anyone watch the 24-hour reading of the Trump Epstein files on the Mayday Network? It was so horrific and heartbreaking. We can't rest until these survivors receive the justice they rightly deserve. Absolutely. And I did watch some of it. I didn't watch 24 hours of it, but I had it on my YouTube channel here on the TV, and I watched. I had it. I was. I had it playing in the background while I was doing some other stuff, but at least I gave him a thumbs up and got a view in there, so maybe that helped him out. But yeah, it's just this cannot go like unresolved. Bad Mac finally made some headway with you, TJ. Mr. Spock, one question cost Kamala. Okay, I haven't read the rest of your post, but I know exactly where you're going. Okay, Mr. Spock says one question cost Kamala the election. Basically, this: is there anything you would do different when dealing with Gaza? And I absolutely 100% agree with you, Mr. Spock Fowler, Mr. Spock Fowler, the Fowler, Mr. Spock the Fowler. I absolutely 100% agree with you. It was the Gaza thing, and she totally bungled that. And I've heard people try to, I guess, give her the benefit of the doubt, or say that she was, because she was still vice president and she didn't want to go against, look like she was going against the president and all this kind of shit. But my God, you were running for president. Yeah, that is I think you're right. I think that's the one question that fucked it up for her. And I think it's really bad that it came down to one thing, but that wasn't a little thing. I mean, especially in this day of social media and everyone having a phone, a camera on their phone, the images coming out of Gaza were horrific, and all of the 18 to 34-year-olds are watching those. And it's good to know that our younger generations, they have feelings, they have empathy and sympathy. And they saw these images, and I think rightfully so, were upset. I was upset about what was happening in Gaza and what Netanyahu was doing. So that issue should not have been taken so lightly. It was, I think, a much bigger issue than what Kamala thought and her advisors thought, because they really didn't address it. They tried to just sweep it under the rug. And I think you're right. I think that's the one issue that cost her the election. I think you're right, Mr. Spock the Fowler. Christina Weibel says Eugene has received 0. Oh, I thought for sure she received some of it. I thought she got, very early on, I thought she got a payment of like $3 million or something. Anna Moore says, it blows my mind at how this man has not yet been investigated for all of the corruption that has visibly enriched him. He may, I think he's been investigated, but he sure as hell hasn't really been, well, he's never seen the inside of a prison cell, which I think he should. He did get found guilty on 34 felony counts a couple years ago. So there's been investigations. There has been convictions. But why is he not in prison? You know? Mr. Spock says, if Jesus had turned straw into weed instead of water to wine, we'd be smoking up at communion. Yeah. That would even make me not want to go to church even more, because I don't like being in a room full of people smoking weed. Maybe back in my 20s that was fun, but not anymore. Brooklyn says, and Rudy hasn't paid any money out to Shay Moss and her mom. Didn't they get? I thought didn't they get one of his New York City apartments or something? It was supposed to be worth, you know, several $1,000,000 or something. I thought they at least got that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Bad Max says that's true. Once he gets his tiny little grubby hands on a buck, he never lets go. Booker says I googled Rudy is still alive. Yeah, he was in hospital. Yeah, it wasn't too good. He wasn't sounding too good. Whatever, if he had pneumonia or something, or Mrs. Spock, she should have won. I agree, she should have won. But that goddamn the way she handled the Gaza thing, she should have been more forceful and more. She should have just said, yeah, what Israel's doing is wrong. It's overkill. I don't support it. These are war crimes that Netanyahu is committing now. That's what she should have said. She would have gained a lot of points for that. Dan Lambert. Hey, Dan Lambert. 8360 or 8387. Thanks for being here. Not sure if I've seen you before, so thanks for coming on in. If you would, make sure you like. And if you like the show, like what you're seeing, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. That would be great. Dan Lambert says, here's an I think maybe unintended outcome that they may not want. Everybody's going to think the J6ers each got $1 million, whether they have it or not. Yeah, that could be true. Fly on the wall. You fly on the wall. I'm not sure if I've seen you here either before, so thanks for popping in. Fly on the wall says, I have empathy, just not for boys beating up girls in female athletic competitions. That's the opposite of equality and makes us Democrats. Are you a Democrat? Are you a Democrat? You said us. You don't really sound like a Democrat to me. Is there a lot of that going on? Boys beating up girls in female athletic competitions? Is that rampant? Is that something running rampant? I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't even know why it's worthy of conversation. You're taking the bait there. I guess I'm taking the bait by talking about it too, but you're taking the bait. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Cisgender males that are transitioning, it takes years and years and years to do it, and it's a big thing. And they're not doing it just so they can beat girls in sports. And the numbers of, and actually, when if you're talking about like little leaguers and stuff like that, boys and girls are pretty equal physically, just naturally. And cisgender girls are probably even at some, in that sort of tweener age there, are sometimes faster and stronger than the boys. And then as far as like college sports is concerned, the number of trans athletes in like NCAA sports isn't it like 1% or less than 1% or just barely over 1%. So it's really not it's not something that's really an issue. But of course, Republicans will make it an issue because they can't really win on real issues like like healthcare and jobs and wages environmental issues. They can't, they can't do that. They can't. So they have to just make these sort of push button emotional issues uh, their main focus, to try to take you off of, to take your focus away from the fact that inflation is going up again under Trump. Now inflation is up. He was handed an economy that was pretty good. Inflation was at under 3%. Now we're approaching 4%. That's the stuff that they want to distract us from when they talk about, boys and girls sports, or men and women's sports, and trying to just villainize and demonize trans people. Let's spend time talking about that issue instead of talking about the fact that inflation is on the rise, unemployment is on the rise. We've seen the gas prices. Let's not talk about starting a stupid war of choice. And now we've got at least a dozen service people that have died, probably more, because I can't trust their numbers of what they withhold. Who knows how many thousands of Iranians have been killed? From day one, it was 170 something schoolgirls that our country murdered on the very first day, making us basically no better than Russia, led by Vladimir Putin. We are basically a Putin type country now. We are basically the bad guys, because that's what Putin did when he started the Ukraine war. I remember the very first casualties of the Ukraine war was Putin bombing, I believe, a grade school and a maternity ward of the hospital. That was what Russia did to Ukraine. And on the first day of this Iranian war, we killed 177 schoolgirls. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about trans athletes, trans people, and how they just want to beat up girls in sports. That's what we're going to talk about. Because that's obviously more important than killing schoolgirls in Iran. Talk about girls. You're so concerned about men playing women's sports and beating up girls. How do you feel about 177 schoolgirls, young schoolgirls, just being vaporized for no reason? But we don't want to talk about that. The trans issue is much more important. We got to get rid of the trans. We got to get rid of those trannies. All 1.2% of them, they are the scourge of this country. That's what we need to focus our attention on, is getting rid of the trannies, the trans folks. Trans folks is too nice. They're just call them trannies. We got to get rid of them, because that's way more important than us killing innocent civilians and schoolgirls. I mean, can you? Am I right or am I right? I mean, we've got the trans issues up here in importance. It's way up here, and killing schoolgirls, it's probably not. It's down below the camera. So let's keep it real, man. Let's keep it real. Mad Max says she did win in real life. We are in the Mandela effect right now, laughing out loud. Well, going by the statistics that I've seen, she lost by 1.4% in the popular vote, and got beat pretty substantially in the electoral college. So everyone's saying he cheated. Mad Mac, Christina, Mr. Spock. I would really love to see some proof. I would love to see the proof. I really, really would. Really, 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 really would. I really, 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 really would. I really, 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 really would. Let's do an investigation on that. Even Greg Palast can't find that without using 20-year-old data. Let's find something a little more current, Greg Palast. Got the Don Francisco coffee. It's a little bitter. It's a little bitter. I like the truck full of nuts. Hey now. I like the chock full of nuts coffee a lot better. Chuck full of nuts, that's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different issue. DPD says, what about Senator Cory Booker, who was another disappointment, saying he plans to continue to vote to fund Israel? What's his AIPAC campaign funds? I wonder how much does he get from AIPAC? Well, you know what? We got to make things a little uncomfortable for Cory. Maybe we should flood his office with cards and letters and phone calls saying, fuck you. Because look, I understand. I think I understand. Well, okay, let me say, I think I understand. We have been forever, since the inception of Israel. We've been there. We've been, I think, their number one ally, the number one supporter of Israel. And we've been there, especially, coming out of World War II and in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. We've been there and we've said, hey, look, we've got your back. We're going to help protect you against all these other Arab nations who think you shouldn't exist. And we'll have your back. And so that's that. I understand that. I understand being an ally and helping to protect Israel, since they are surrounded by enemies. But Netanyahu is not doing Israel any favors by he just keeps creating more and more enemies. He has done nothing in any type of outreach or to try to start a process, a peace process. If the term two-state solution, he takes that like you just hit him over the head with a shovel or something. I mean, so he's not doing himself or his country any favors, and he's just creating more and more enemies, and he probably feels very emboldened, especially with Trump in office, knowing he's not going to lose this support. So people like Cory Booker and others in Congress need to, I think, we need to, okay, kind of divorce ourselves from this sort of blindly going along with Israel and giving them all this money and military support. There's a time when I think it has to stop. And I think now is the time. I mean, or maybe the time was a few years ago, when Biden was still in office. But Biden, again, he's old school. Biden was old school. He's been there through those times when the mindset was to support Israel at all costs. That's been the mindset, that Israel is to be protected at all costs. That's our job, is to make sure. It's like Israel is like our little brother, and we're going to make sure that when they have their first day in high school, that we got their back. And if anyone tries to fuck with them, we're going to stand right behind them and let everyone know that if you fuck with them, you're fucking with us. But maybe, just maybe, the little brother has now, grown up and has graduated from high school, and maybe the little brother needs to learn how to handle themselves now. Maybe it's time for us to kind of back off and say, okay, especially if the little brother turns out to be kind of an asshole, and you're tired of defending his ass because he's the one that probably thanks to you felt really emboldened. He's the one who knows he's got the big brother, so he goes out and starts a bunch of shit because he knows big brother is going to help him. So maybe we've come to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not helping you anymore. Now, of course, if the little brother is getting the holy snot kicked out of him, at some point we're going to jump in and go, okay, enough. We don't want our little brother to get killed. Maybe that's this. I think this is a great analogy. So I think maybe that's what we need to do with Israel. We need to back off. And of course, if it gets to the point where, okay, it looks like they're going to get fucking killed, then okay, we'll step in. But we can't just blindly give them all the support, especially when they abuse our support. They're abusing it. And mainly that's because of Netanyahu. It's Netanyahu and his supporters that are just creating these more and more enemies that we're going to have to deal with for generations now. So call Senator Booker or write postcards and just tell him, you know what? It's time to stop just blindly giving our money and support to Israel because they're taking advantage. They're taking advantage of our largesse. You know what I mean? There comes a point where you want to help, but if that person becomes an asshole, then you got to just say, "Whoa, I didn't sign up for this. I was just trying to help you defend yourself. I wasn't helping you. I didn't want to help you so you could fucking commit a genocide against a bunch of people, against a whole people, Dan Lambert says, here's another interesting fact. A billionaire could donate 99.9% of their wealth to charity and still be a multimillionaire. Yeah. Just think, yeah, and I've seen those memes about, Bezos and Musk, with all those billions and hundreds of billions of dollars, we could wipe out homelessness and people not having enough food and everything. DPD says that there's no way the orange pedophile won the popular vote on all 7 swing states. We can presume a lot of things. I need proof. Mad Max says, by the way, I saw a high school basketball game between a boys team and a girls team. My granddaughter was on the girls team, and the girls kicked the boys' asses 57-35. I loved it. Like I said, when you're in that kind of little league age or even the middle school age, girls develop earlier than boys, and they can be bigger and stronger and faster in some cases, not all cases, but, and then the boys catch up in high school and certainly by the time they're in college. because they're grown-ass men by then. Christina says, since when would a billionaire donate anything to charity? Well, say what you will about Bill Gates, but he's donated billions of dollars, I believe. I believe Jeff Bezos' ex, who got, what did she get in a settlement? Like $40 billion or some shit. I think she's donated like $30 billion or more. I don't know, to charity. So there's a couple of examples right there. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, who I think are divorced now, but I think they still have their charities and stuff. And Jeff Bezos' ex, whatever her name might be. That's two that have donated to charity. I bet you old, what's his name? Warren Zevon? No, not Warren Zevon. Warren Spahn? No. Warren, whatever that guy's name is. He's a billionaire. I bet you he's donated some money. I don't know. Isn't he a billionaire? Warren, what's his face? Not Elizabeth Warren. She's not a billionaire. Anymore. Oh no, his Senate seat is on the primary ballot in New Jersey. Are we talking about Cory Booker? Hey, look. I'm not saying to vote the guy out. If there's a better choice on the ballot, then vote for that better choice. Whoever, if you think there's someone better, if he's being primaried or whatever, certainly them. But I'm not calling for his head. I'm not calling for him to. Christina White says 10 trans athletes. I guess that was about in college sports, there's 10 trans. But yeah, that's more important. We talk about those 10 trans athletes than about the 177 schoolgirls that were vaporized on day one of this stupid, idiotic Iranian war of choice, war of distraction. Let's talk about the 10 athletes, 10 trans athletes. That's way more important. And that's not a slam against you, Christina. That is, I'm going along with the point there. Luke, what is this? Luck? I can't read your name. Sophia, Sarah, Shiva. Why can't people just have regular, normal names? I don't know if this is. I mean, Luke, Rick, there's like a bunch of names smashed together. Maybe that's your family or something. But thank you for being here. And I'm sorry if I'm having a hard time with their name. But thank you for being here. It says the whole is active at Manastash, Skinwalker, and Winnemucca. I know where Winnemucca is in Nevada. He advised and follow COG 723 and contact Mount Weather Cold. I have no idea what you're talking about. But thanks for being here. Thanks for playing. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for coming in. I do appreciate you. Dan Lambert says, my youngest daughter was on the high school wrestling team and nobody said a thing. Good. That sounds like a pretty cool school then. Pretty progressive, open-minded school. Hey, if a girl wants to play boys sports and she can handle it, then I'm all for it. Like I said, I played football, and I played junior college football, and I also went on to play university level football. But I was at a junior college. Actually, this happened twice. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think it was the same junior college. It happened 2 different years, where I think one year it was one girl showed up. It was after we already had gone through Hell Week, and we were all in pads, and we were still early in this, like we hadn't played any games yet, I don't think, but we were still, because Hell Week, every single football team I've ever been on day one of conditioning of Hell Week, which is really 2 weeks long, but anyhow, you'll have 2, 3, at least 300 or more, mainly guys, all guys that show up. And by the time you go through your 2 weeks of conditioning, double days, 2-a-days for 2 weeks, and then you're in pads, and then you're still doing mainly conditioning in pads. You're not really, you start doing a little hitting, you start working those pads in and getting into hitting shape. But you've whittled it down from those 300 or 400 people that showed up. You're down to 30 or 40, or maybe with your senior, with your varsity squad and your JC squad, maybe you've got, or your junior varsity squad, you've got 40 or 50 guys that survived out of the 350 that showed up on day one. So it's a great whittling process of actually who wants to be on the team, who really wants to play football. That's a great thing about 2 weeks and 2-a-days. It whittles down, and even some really good athletes who are really good in other sports. Like we've had some great, when I played, we had some really great like basketball players and track guys and baseball players. But the conditioning for football is really tough. It really, really is. And it really whittles down who really wants to play. So it kind of pisses me off that, okay, so this happened at junior college twice, 2 different seasons, where after we went through Hell Week and we're in pads, and we're out there scrimmaging and we're hitting, then all of a sudden a girl shows up and says she wants to play football. So our coach was like, okay, you want to play? Let's try it out. Go in there, get your gear. We'll get you some pads and uniform, and come on out. And both times that this happened, the coach said, "Hey, I want to introduce you guys. We got a new player trying out. Her name is Kimberly or whatever. I don't know." And she said she wants to come out. So I said, "Okay." So she wants to be a football player. She's a football player. She's not a girl or a young woman. She's a football player. And so you treat her just like you would any other football player. We're like, all right. Long story short, I guess, in both those instances, both years, one year it was one girl, the next year it was 2 girls. Neither one of them, they went to one practice, got the shit kicked out of them. We never saw a hide or hair of them ever again. And one wanted to be a kicker, one was an offensive lineman, and I was a D-line, and I went against this girl. It was like going against, I mean, I've had tackling dummies that were more resistant, and she was kind of a big girl. Don't get me wrong. She probably thought she thought because she's a big girl that she could, play football at the junior college level. Maybe at Pop Warner she could have, back when you're like 10 or 12, she probably could have, but not when you're in college against 18 and 19-year-olds and stuff. Yeah, so these girls just got the ever-living shit knocked out of them because the coach is like, don't go easy on them. Just play them like you would any other football player. And we're like, yep, all right. And so both those years, they came out for one practice, got the shit kicked out of them, and they never came back again. So I guess my point is, if girls want to play in boys' sports or women want to play in men's sports, there's no rules against that as far as I know. I mean, maybe there are in different schools and stuff, but if they want to, and if they're good enough to make the team, then they should make the team. They should be on the team. If there was a girl that was good enough to play, whether it was quarterback or running back or linebacker or whatever, if they could knock people out, not out, but knock people down, they could tackle people, get to the ball, or run through people if you're on the offensive side or whatever. If they could do that shit, then sign them up. But from what I've seen, my experience is at that age, at that level, they can't. Christina Weibel says Elon Musk knows those voting machines there is anomalies in 2024 election. Well, maybe Elon Musk knows it, but does anybody else know it? Is there any proof, any evidence, anything that we could actually bring into a courtroom? Mad Max, show me the proof of those statistics, TJ. How many times has their numbers been skewed to their favor? All the time. Those statistics are what we have. They've been counted, they've been verified, they've been certified. You can speculate all you want. All you have now is speculation. Oh, is that DPD $20? Here's for your tip for the day, TJ. I want you to wear your mask from your one and only soul daughter. Yippee DPD! Thank you so much for that $20. We got one. We got 21 minutes to go. Can we get 4 more super chats in 21 minutes and 16 seconds? Thank you, DPD. Yippee! I do appreciate you. I don't know why that did that. But thanks so much. Now I got to scroll back to where I left off. We can speculate all we want that Trump cheated, but it's just speculation. It's just speculation. Anna Moore says, I believe she did as well, that she won, Kamala won, especially when the orange chaos in the White House complimented Musk for helping him win. Okay, that doesn't mean by helping him win that he fixed the machines. That means he was out there campaigning and stumping and endorsing for Trump. That's what that means. Lots of people help candidates, and it's through their endorsements and through campaign funding and helping to raise funding and helping get the word out. That's what helping is. It's not flipping votes on a machine or something. I mean, I guess it could be. But every candidate thanks their supporters for helping them get elected. That doesn't mean that they cheated. It means they helped get them elected by promoting their campaign. As old as Zin's here. Hey, as old as Zin, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Danny Pomeroy, Elon used his money to buy votes. Remember the $1 million giveaway? Then Dropbox were set on fire in Democrat district. Okay, so I believe Elon Musk, I think he wasn't he found guilty for doing that recently? Found guilty in some sort of illegal campaign violation. I believe he was found guilty. Whether or not that was buying votes, I think he was. Wasn't it where if you registered to vote, then it was kind of like a drawing of the registrants that would get $1 million or something like that. It was basically like a drawing. I don't think that's the same as buying votes, but he was found of. I think he was found guilty of something there, but I don't think that's buying vote. I don't think that was enough. In other words, I don't think that whatever that little scheme was, I don't think that was enough to turn the election. Okay. The burning of the Dropbox, I don't know who did that. Do you have any proof that Elon Musk did that, or Elon Musk put somebody up to doing that? We don't know who did that. No one knows who did that, as far as I know. Dan Lambert says BB said years ago the enemy of his enemy is his enemy. That's the conclusion, if you ask me. Yeah, BB Netanyahu, I think, is another psycho. He's another one of these psychos, just like Putin, just like Trump. They're psychos, man. Deepa D says Booker has received more than $900,000 from AIPAC, so fuck you, Cory Booker. Well, I think everyone should tell him that. Like, call him up, call his office, and say fuck you for taking AIPAC money. Matt, proof is 0 votes for Kamala for the last 10 hours of the polls in all swing states. Okay, I can't I can't just let this stand. I'm gonna have to Google this. Because I can't let that one go. So how should I ask this? Did Harris receive 0 votes? God dang it! I wish I could type votes in all swing states? Is that what it was? In the last 10 hours? In the last 10 hours of voting? I'm going to put that. Does that sound like a fair question? Let's see what comes up. It says no. This is the AI overview. I know you guys hate AI, but so be it. It says no. The claim that Kamala Harris received 0 votes in all swing states in the last 10 hours of voting is false. This assertion is a baseless internet rumor and is not supported by any official election results or data. Throughout the entire tabulation process, Harris continued to receive votes as ballots were processed, verified, and tallied in every state, including all of the battlegrounds. For officials and verified voting breakdowns by state, you can refer to the following election resources: national resources and data, state level canvassing. So there's canvassing. So I'll stand by what AI told me. I think that I'm not going to argue with that. We could probably Snopes it if you want. Of course, you probably bitch about Snopes too. You probably you like Snopes when it verifies what you believe in, but if Snopes goes against you, you probably hate Snopes. So, respectfully, Mad Mac, I think that you are a victim of internet I don't know why my iPad is so like choppy right now. I'm trying to get back to YouTube, and it for some reason this thing will not. You know how you're supposed to just you can just like I don't know what's going on. Stupid. Anyhow, so that's been disproven. That's been debunked, and now I'm starting all over. All right, I need a better system. DPD says Mackenzie Scott. I think is that Bezos' ex? I think maybe Mackenzie. That sounds familiar. Just donated $70 million to Meals on Wheels, which is the largest gift in organization history. Yeah, she's amazing, man. She's donated, I think, billions of dollars. Warren Buffett. There you go. Warren Zevon Buffett. Thank you, DPD. Mad Mac. Yeah, Bill Gates, although he went to Epstein Island, has donated the majority of his wealth to charity, clean water in Africa, housing, etc. Yeah, he's donated lots and lots of money. And because he's in the Epstein files, I think he should be investigated for sure. But just because you're on the Epstein files, I don't think that automatically means that you were fucking underage people. I want to say people because I think there's girls and boys involved in this. We need to know more. Same way with Clinton. All they showed was a picture of him in a hot tub, Clinton, and there was a young woman who I believe was over 18. I think she was one of Epstein's, what we could call lieutenants. This is the only picture I think, of Clinton is that one because they think it looks salacious or whatever. Is that the word? There's a lot we need to uncover. And just because you're in the Epstein files, I don't think that necessarily means that you are on the same level as Epstein himself or Trump himself, who there are credible FBI reports of Trump graping and committing violent acts against underage people. Anyhow, Anna Moore says I used to care for a senior who received Meals on Wheels. For many seniors, it's all they get for the day. They usually get a nice sandwich, a hot meal, and dessert Monday through Friday. I need to get on Meals on Wheels. Dan Lambert says in the 1980s, I rented a house overlooking the Columbia River for $225 a month. I was making $25 an hour, falling timber in my 20s. I didn't save a thing. I know. I wish I would have saved more. DPD, I'm just now coming to the in the chat, the $20 super chat. So you're gonna get another yippee, and I gave you a heart and a thumbs up. Yeah, and DPD says, here's your tip for today, TJ. I want you to wear your mask from your one and only soul daughter. Thank you, DPD. I know. I have the mask with me. Here's my bag. I'm like a little old bag lady. Look at I know I get looks. I bought this at Albertsons for like $3. This is one of those reusable shopping bags. But this is what I take to work with me. And I know people are like, look at that funny old man in his bag. And I got some wipes, Clorox wipes, that I always clean off the steering wheel with because the steering wheel is filthy. And here we go. Wait, there's my masks. Can you see them? I have 2 or 3 masks in there. I carry them with me, but I don't put them on. I know, what good are they if they're in the bag? They need to go on the face. But I do. At least I have them with me. Maybe someday, I don't know. I just don't feel like putting them on. Josh C says, regardless of any shenanigans with the election, the end result is what it is, and here we are. But if there is proof, like proof that we could take into a court. I remember I got all excited. Was it earlier this year or the end of last year? Probably. Remember there was some courts cases going on in upstate New York. And I got all excited because I thought, oh, this is going to prove that the election was rigged. I don't even know what happened on that. I never even heard. Or maybe I did hear the outcome, and it was so nothing that, But I remember there was a bunch of cases. There was 2 or 3 cases that was supposed to prove all this like election fraud and fixing, and nothing happened. Nothing was proven. Nothing was proven. Aaron is back. Thank you, Aaron, for coming back and hanging out. I hope your session went good. But what few little cases have gone forward, I don't think anything was proven. Nothing happened. Nothing conclusive. But I would love it if there was someone that could come with some hard evidence, some hard proof that proved that the whole thing was rigged and fixed. Then hey, take him to court and let's get something at least proven. But everything that I've seen that's gone to court, it's turned out to just be like nothing. It hasn't done anything. DPD says it's interesting that Musk has come back into the fray considering the midterms are right around the corner. Yeah, so you think he's coming back so he can fix those voting machines again, I guess. Danny Pomeroy, it says Elon broke election rules and buying vote by raffle tickets. Yeah, so what happened? Was it just a fine? I remember he was found guilty. Apparently, it wasn't a criminal thing because he didn't get sentenced to prison. Was it just a fine? Was this a civil proceeding and it was just a fine? Or even if it was criminal, I guess I could just fine him. Buying vote by raffle tickets. Again, that was wrong, and I think being found guilty was the right thing, but I don't think that turned the election. I don't think that him having a raffle for people, I think it was people who voted, or it was actually just for people who registered as Republicans. There wasn't even the vote yet. That was just registering to vote. And then he was raffling off those people who registered and then giving those $1 million. And I think he did it a few times, right? That was not enough to turn the fucking election, in my humble opinion. It's going to take more than that. Mad Mac bomb threats were sent to blue district voting places and they were closed down for inspection. They tracked the text to Russia. Russia had every single address to send those threats at once. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that was all traced back to Russia. How did they get the addresses? Well, there's a thing called the internet. Yeah, well, yeah, Russia. I'm not saying there wasn't campaigns going on. Russia was just as involved in 2024 as they were in 2016. Dan Lambert says, what I can't understand is how we could have had a record amount of newly registered voters, but half of them didn't bother to cast a ballot. Do I have to Google that? Did we really have a record amount of newly registered voters? Should I Google that too? I hate Googling because then it takes forever to get back to this page because my iPad is weird. DPD says, I think with all the bullshit with Orange pedophile ranting and raving about 2020 election being stolen, that no Democrat would ever dare to claim a stolen election just to save face. Well, that is true that if we criticize, and I think rightfully so, Trump for all of his crying about fixed elections and it was rigged and he lost because it was rigged, and when we say, no, it wasn't rigged, you fucking idiot, then when he wins, then that makes us all of us hesitant to say it was rigged because now we sound like the whiny crybabies, right? That's the whole thing. That's kind of the either genius or accidental genius of Trump's whole thing, when he says it's rigged, but it's not rigged if I win. It's only rigged if I lose. So he gets it both ways, and then when he does win, then if we cry that it was rigged, then we just sound like him, like an idiot. So it's like we can't win. We can't win. Either we just can't win. We're just fucked. But still, if there's hardcore evidence, hardcore proof, the type of proof that you could take into a fucking court of law, then I don't think anyone should hesitate with that. Regardless of this whole sort of almost like a catch-22, where we say Trump's an idiot for saying the election was rigged, in 2020, but then we turn around in 2024 and say it was rigged, and then we sound like the idiot. That's the catch-22 part of it. But I say, hey, if that shouldn't stop us from presenting whatever hardcore fucking evidence that you would take into a court of law. If you were going to bring a case before a judge, you better have some evidence, some proof to back your case. Otherwise, you're just going to get thrown out, just like Rudy Giuliani did over 60 times when he came to court with nothing. And the judge says, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? And they had nothing. And the judges laughed him out of court and said, get the fuck out of my court. You're wasting the court's time. So, but if we have the hardcore fucking proof and evidence, then take him to court. Catch-22 be damned. Danny Pomeroy says it was all done electronically by random pick. He gave $1 million for a vote for Trump. And who doesn't think the cartel was making millions trafficking immigrants, 2 American southern border crazy? I don't know anything about the cartel trafficking immigrants. I know they like to traffic drugs. Maybe trafficking immigrants, they could sneak some of the mules in there, I don't know. Liberdan, I bitch about Snopes because they too often don't allow for logical conclusions based on facts given. And I wasn't, I wasn't singling out you, Liberal Dan, or anything like that about the Snopes thing, by the way. But Mad Mac, I will find where I saw that. They had all the analytics to show it. Election Truth Alliance would have been where I learned that. By the way, it isn't the last thing we read that makes something true or false. Hey, if my AI and analytics or whatever it's called says that that was false and it didn't happen, then God damn it, it was false and it didn't happen. My AI analytics is not going to lie to me. Mad Mac, I like Bill Gates, but he should have he should be investigated too. Yeah, I said he should be investigated. That is the difference between maggots and us. They want Dems investigated, but not themselves. Pathetic fucks. I absolutely 100% agree. I said that Gates should be investigated. I just think that just because his name is on there doesn't mean he's actually an evil person, in my opinion. But it should be investigated. We should find out exactly his involvement and what he did, just like everyone else that's on that list should be investigated thoroughly. Yeah, not just Dems. Deputy said in Michigan, the county clerk is MAGA, and she has been removing voters who are newly registered and individuals who vote absentee from the voter rolls. Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of State, has filed suit. And yes, that county clerk needs to be fired. Dan Lambert says Bill Gates already paid the price for befriending Epstein by getting divorced over it. And again, investigate Bill Gates and Bill Clinton, anyone else named Bill, and Joe and George and Jeffrey and Donald. Investigate all of them, every single one of them. And if it's found that they were committing crimes, SAs, I guess we have to say, SAs and grapes, and even, I mean, there could be schmurdering, allegations of schmurdering. Kind of funny how we have to talk. All that stuff. Investigate them, and if they're still alive, these perpetrators, convict the fuck out of them. Send them to prison. Anna Moore says, I just find it suspicious how Trump claimed victory early on election night and called for the counting of ballots to stop in the U.S. Are you talking about 2024? In 2024, when he wasn't president? Did he do that? DBD says, I have a bag like that. Do you have the same one, the same design? Yeah. It's got like vegetables and shit. Right? Flavorful foods. Oh, fresh, organic, in season. Yeah, it's got peppers. Lots of peppers on there. This is what I take on the bus with me, and I do get some weird looks. Like, you know, why is that? Why is he carrying that bag? Liberdan says proof. Oh, wait. Liberdan says proof. You want proof? I'm adding this part. You want proof? No. Liberdan says proof. Trump says he was rigged, and every conservative accusation is a well, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's only rigged when he loses, but when he wins, it's not rigged. Mad Max says Jessica Denson. Now here's another one that I was all on board with, and she acted like she had all this stuff, and then she had nothing. But anyhow, Mad Max says Jessica Denson had a guy on who showed how easy it was to manipulate the voting tabulators from one person to another. All one needed was the MasterCard to the system. Every machine comes with a card. Dan Lambert says at this point it's up to Donald to prove he didn't rig the election, if you ask me. I mean, so far the dude hasn't done anything that I wouldn't do if I were a Russian spy. Sheesh. Hey, look, I get it. We also, I suspect all kinds of shit. I've got all kinds of speculation and suspicion, and I wouldn't put it past Trump and any of his cronies to do whatever they could to cheat. They're grifters and they're cheaters and they're liars. So I'm not so naive to think that they wouldn't cheat if they could get away with it. I'm just not so sure if they're smart enough to get away with it. Or at least to the point where it actually turned the election. But I don't know, man. I mean, again, maybe it's just one of those things we'll never know. Mad Max says also the fake electors trying to make changes with different data. They were not allowed in, thank goodness. Yeah, the fake electors were found out. DPD, I'll tell you another way to know some bullshit was in the air. Alan Lichtman, I remember Alan has predicted the winner with 13 keys to the White House. Lichtman has predicted 9 of 10 elections from 84 to 2020. Going down, reading down here, DPD says Lichtman predicted Kamala was going to win. He happens to be a presidential historian. Mad Max says doors on the backs of voting machines were found open in Milwaukee, the biggest swing state. That is interesting. Big. Why do you think Trump wants to eliminate mail ballots, paper trail, and tracking? Mad Max, ha ha ha, TJ. I'm not sure what I said. It's been this is from a while ago, so I don't know what was so funny. Mad Max says even Elmo admitted if they were not successful, they would all be going to prison. Prison for what, though? See, you want to automatically assume that he was talking about that they would go to prison for rigging the election or for cheating, for voter cheating, for counting cheating or whatever. That's what. But he might have just meant that the Democrats would be in power and would control the DOJ and would get them for I don't know, tax evasion, or would get them for a bunch of other shit that they've been doing that he knows they're guilty of. But you're just automatically assuming that he's saying because they cheated. That might not have been what he was saying at all. As far as cheating, as far as actually getting into the machines and flipping votes. That might not have been what he was talking about. He might have just been talking about all of the fucking unscrupulous and shady shit that they just do naturally. Just for being skeezy, scummy, fucking billionaire Republicans. Guys, stop making me defend these motherfuckers. Big Hood says Christopher Titus has had the voter election integrity guy on his channel more than once, and statistically the voter results seem skewed in the pattern the same as what happened in Russia elections. Okay, that might be a great guy to have in court to sort of back up whatever evidence you have to bring in. Dan Lambert says no immigrant, legal or not, is going to risk deportation over a mere vote. Never going to happen. About immigrants coming in, because the right wing they'll claim that Democrats want open borders so that the immigrants can come here and vote. Right? That's part of the Republican reasoning or whatever about Democrats wanting immigrants to come here. Yeah, and you're right. If you're not eligible to vote, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you cannot vote, and it would not be worth it because either you're here illegally and you want to not be detected, or even if you are here with a visa or a green card and you're trying to, maybe you're working to get citizenship, you don't want to jeopardize that either. So absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Dan Lambert. Josh C says, Big Hook, that's what I'm talking about. I've seen that on a couple different shows. DBD says, yes, I do, TJ, and so do I get looks, but fuck them. Looks all you want. Just don't touch. Look all you want. Look all you want. Yeah. Aaron says, help Trucker John get that car. Oh, thank you. There's my GoFundMe. Thank you, Aaron West. I think we've raised about 300 and something bucks. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll be getting that car eventually. I do appreciate you. We've got GoFundMe, we've got PayPal, we've got Buy Me a Coffee, we got Super Chats, Super Stickers, all kinds of stuff. Help keep the show going and hopefully maybe get me some wheels. Because when I do that, I can work more, and I will work more at the cab company. Josh C says there was proof of men's uh, something whether they cheated or not. They wanted to. Period. I don't know what that even means. Man, Mac, I only pointed out exactly what Elmo said. Nowhere in that text did I say what you derived yourself from the text. No, but well, okay, but it's not just you, Mad Mac. I've heard people bring that up over and over and over and over again, and some people play the clips of Elmo saying what what you quoted him as saying, like if the Democrats win, we're all going to go to prison. And so it's not. I'm not picking on you or whatever. I'm just saying that people bring that up all the time. They play that clip, or they quote that quote, and it doesn't prove anything. It's not an admission. That is not an admission of guilt about voter tampering. That is a vague, open-ended thing that could mean anything. It could mean that we're going to go to prison because they don't like us, and they're going to, they're always talking about lawfare, or using the law to go after their enemies. That's what he could have been saying. They're going to come after us on trumped up charges, no pun intended. So that wasn't just really directed just at you, Mad Mac, but I'm just saying that quote and that clip has been played ad nauseum as some sort of proof that the election was rigged, and it really proves nothing, because it could mean a whole lot of things. And the way I really think that it meant is that he was just saying that the Democrats would come after them and use the power of having the majorities and being able to run the government and run the DOJ, and that they would put them through such scrutiny that they would find something to charge them with. That's how I took it. It wasn't like, but people try to use that quote as just a clear-cut admission of voter tampering, and it's not. I mean, I guess it could be, but it's not. And that wasn't calling you out on anything, Mad Mac. That was just, I've seen people a million times use that quote to try to prove that he's admitting to voter tampering, and he's not. Big Hook says you can easily go back and watch those Titus videos on the election results. There are disparities that don't track with historical results and the past, and they fall in a pattern that repeats. Hey, I don't deny that there's some hinky looking shit. It's definitely hinky. But he says it's interesting that Musk was being investigated along with his company's, lo and behold, poof, Doge made it all go away. Yeah, then there's that. Huge conflicts of interest, to say the least. Mad Max says, exactly, my BC bud, Big Hook. Titus had Election Truth Alliance on to show all the ways they cheated and how they did it. Things that in the real world could never happen at all. Hey, Election Truth Alliance, file a court case. Take him to court. Take the Trump administration to court. Take Donald Trump to court. Why don't you? Let's see how that goes. That'd be interesting. Aaron West says Trucker John has channel memberships. Yes, we do have memberships. We've got the bottom tier starting at $1.99 a month. We've got mid-tier stuff. I think it's $4.99 a month. I will be doing some more stuff for the other tiers at some point. I don't know what. Maybe I'll make a song for you. Check out my new song. It's called, what did I name it? I don't mourn when evil people die. That's the new Trucker John song. It's going to be a big hit. Oh, I did in Discord. Oh, and on the community post here on YouTube, I did post a link to my Suno playlist because I know Josh and some others have asked about where can we listen to your music, to your songs. So I did post a link on my YouTube community page and in Discord. The link to the Suno that should take you to the playlist. So it has the new song. I don't mourn. What is it? I don't mourn the death of evil men. I can't even remember my own title. That's the new one. It's got Paradise Road on there. It's got the theme songs on this show. It's time for the Trucker John live stream and time to say goodbye or whatever. And Door Chimes is one of I put for some reason I named it Door Chimes. And it's got a couple other versions. There's some other versions of the songs on there because you can do different versions. There's a couple different versions of those songs. So Josh C's, I know Josh C's always asked about it. Other people ask about where can I play or where can I guess have a playlist. So there's the Suno one. If that doesn't work out, I guess I could download stuff to SoundCloud because I do have a SoundCloud channel. And I do have some of those songs on there, and I've got some older stuff that I made using GarageBand way before like the AI stuff was there. But for some reason, I've lost a lot of that stuff. Stuff disappears, and I think it's lost and gone forever. But I did make some pretty cool, I thought were pretty cool, kind of instrumental stuff from GarageBand. So I've got that on my SoundCloud. Plus, I think I have a couple of these AI songs on my SoundCloud. But if you want to listen to the songs that I play on the show, my little AI songs, there are links to the Discord and that I have posted on my community channel and in Discord. And you can check out the new song that I think is titled I Don't Mourn When Evil Men Die, but I can't even remember my own title. But I think it's a catchy little tune. So if you want to check that out, check it out. And give it a thumbs up and a comment. And for anyone who's watching this on replay, if you like what you're seeing, drop a comment in the comments and let me know what you think. And maybe if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 5K Hennessy Day. Hennessy. You want to see me crack open a bottle of Hennessy and drink some of it, or as much of it as I can in a 2-hour period, responsibly, then help me get to 5K. Did you guys see my little, I didn't download it, did I? I did not download it. But I made a, fantasy YouTube plaque that said, "Congratulations, Trucker John, for 100,000 subscribers." I do not have 100,000 subscribers, but I did make a plaque, a visual. I think I posted that on my community page also. Yes, we got PayPal. There's Aaron. The PayPal. We got Buy Me a Coffee. Danny Pomeroy says, John, problem is every time Trump won the presidency, Republicans end up in Moscow. Donald is America's #1 gangster, and yes, he paid Mexico for Tent City. Then after losing the election, immigrant. I don't even know what that is, but I definitely believe that he is Putin's bitch, Putin's puppet, Putin's bitch, and he is a direct pipeline of American secrets and American intel. He is the direct pipeline to Putin, right from Trump. Trump. Yeah, he's a traitor. Trump. He's horrible. Everything about Trump is horrible. DPD says, my husband says they have something on Governor Polis of Colorado in order for him to release Tina Peters. That's always going to be the suspicion, right? Every time some Democrat does something for Trump, we're always going to go, what the hell do they have on you, buddy? Whether or not they do or not, but we're always gonna think that, and justifiably so. Mad Max says the Orange Pedos said, "I got the World Cup and the Olympics, but I won't be your president for them. But then they rigged the election, and now I will be your president for them." What the fuck? That is on video. Okay, so he said he's got the World Cup and the Olympics, but he won't be a president for them. But then they rigged the election, and now I will be your president for them. I think I remember seeing that too. I think I remember seeing that video and that when he said that. Yeah, maybe that was saying the quiet part out loud. Maybe, yeah, because Trump can't, especially in his continued deterioration of his mind. He can't shut up. Maybe that was that. Like I can give Elon Musk some wiggle room. I'm not sure if I can give Trump any on that one. But then they rigged the election, and now I will be your president for them. So, yeah. Whether or not they actually rigged the election, or he just thinks they rigged the election, I guess that's the question. Josh C says, whether they cheated or not, we know they wanted to. Big Hook says the one thing that was the same was the electoral results were electronically transmitted to the tabulator where the results are added up. That's the one hackable source that was vulnerable. DBD, I just hope we are prepared for the fuckery coming out our way in the midterms. Josh says we aren't. If there's massive fuckery, I mean, how much more are we going to take, though? How much more are we going to take? I mean, I guess we're beyond like being shocked or surprised at anything. Like, so who so I don't know. I'm hoping that we can get through these elections and have our votes counted. I'm hopeful of that, but maybe I am now being naive. Maybe I am being naive now. Who's the naive one now? I mean, the Republicans know that in a free and fair election. What's on my face? Is there something on my face? What is this? I was eating eggs earlier. Did I get some egg yolk on my face? Is that egg yolk? I don't know. Or is that just a blemish? Anyhow, what was I saying? Okay, the Republicans know that if everything is on the up and up and we had fair elections, free and fair elections, everything's counted, they know that they're going to get the snot kicked out of them. They're going to get the absolute snot knocked out of them. So what do? Well, yeah, you cheat. I mean, before you cheat, I guess you utilize whatever propaganda machines you have left with your right-wing media, your Jesse Waters, your Sean Hannity's, all that shit, to just keep pumping out misinformation, disinformation. There's that, but that's not enough. That's not going to be enough because more and more people, I think, are getting wise to that. Hopefully, so then they resort to cheating. What cheating? How much cheating can they do? What can they get away with? Well, Big Hook talks about mail-in voting and trying to sabotage that somehow. I guess you guys talk about, I don't know if it's Starlink with Elon Musk or how they're doing it, or MasterCards, you know, flipping votes in the machines. If they can get away with that, whatever they're gonna throw as much shit against the wall, and I guess, and see what sticks. So we just have to be hyper vigilant and watch them like hawks, and not let them get away with any monkey business. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to do. Just vote, register to vote, and vote, and don't let them get away with anything. I mean, what do we do? I mean, I feel like all I can do is fill out my ballot, which you guys saw and had my address on it. If you know my address, you can send me, I don't know, nice cards or something. I don't know. But what do we do? We just vote. I guess we just vote and hope for the best. Form groups that watch groups that watch what's going on. I don't know. You guys tell me. What do we do? Mad Max says the video is on C-SPAN. Oh, the one where I guess where he says that. Yeah, I don't deny that he said that. I remember hearing him say that about. But they rigged the election, so I guess I will be there or whatever. Yeah, I remember that. That one, like I said, there's not much wiggle room there. Not like the Musk one. Like, what the hell did he mean? Like, if he didn't mean they actually rigged the election, what the fuck did he mean? You know, how do you say, oh no, he meant this, you know, or he meant this other thing. He didn't mean that. Big, why is it that all nonpartisan election workers are receiving death threats from these maggots and bomb threats? No doubt, again on election day, along with ICE presence possible on election day. Yeah, because, like I said, they know that they are going to lose unless they cheat or they intimidate. They use fear and intimidation tactics, or they try to actually cheat in the counting. DBD says that's why the orange pedophile is hell-bent on building the ballroom. Building the ballroom. Building the ballroom. So he wants to build the ballroom to hide there? Is that what you're talking about? In the bunker? The bunker in the ballroom? The bunker in the ballroom. Daniel Emmert says Eric Prince set up a back channel. Now, Eric Prince is like Blackwater, right? Eric Prince set up a back channel to the Kremlin January 11, 2017, 10 days before Donald was inaugurated president. Vladimir Putin speaks perfect English, and he understands English perfectly. Building the ballroom. Big egg on your face. Some subtle sarcasm. Hey, I guess I got egg on my face after that Trump quote. DBD says, look at what the illegitimate SCOTUS just did by upholding the Virginia Supreme Court's decision to disregard the people's choice. I'm just checking my battery. We're at 35%. We've gone 2.5 hours. So just checking that real quick. But yeah, SCOTUS, just this this John Roberts court is pathetic. It's got to go down as the worst Supreme Court in the history of the Supreme Court. Big Hook says, you just know another Dinesh D'Souza conspiracy movie on the election is coming if we win the midterms overwhelmingly. But those movies don't do anything, I don't think. That 2,000 Mules was such horseshit, piece of shit, and I don't. Did anyone even watch it other than Hal Sparks and all of us that he made us watch it? Mad Mac, we rise up and take back the country. We just need Major Ojeda leading the uprising. Well, hopefully his votes will get counted and he will win his Senate seat that he's going for. Yeah, Down on the Boondocks. That's the tune I was thinking of, and I thank you, Mad Mac. Yeah, Down on the Boondocks, like building the ballroom, yeah, or whatever. Josh says ballroom pillow fort. DVD says the way I see it is voting really doesn't mean anything if they can choose to throw out ballots or change elections on a whim. This is what we are up against, and it's shocking how unprepared we are. Well, what can we do to prepare? I mean, the only thing I can do to think of to prepare is to make sure that I can vote, and I do have. I'm not going to show you my address this time. I have my ballot, so I know I'm registered, and I did check with vote.org. But I've got my ballot, my sample ballot. I've got my ballot here. All I can do is make sure I'm able to vote and then go vote. I mean, what else can we do other than that? And if I go to the polling place and I see a bunch of ICE motherfuckers, then I'll shoot video of it, I guess, and post it on YouTube and go, look at all these ICE motherfuckers, or whatever it is, or if there's some group, some right wing group, Proud Boys or whatever, and they're all hanging out by the polling station, I'm going to take video of that and expose that. I could do that, but other than that, what can I do? I guess I could call my the county registrar or the state AG and go, hey, look, and show them and send them my video and go, look at these motherfuckers intimidating everybody. But Nevada's not too bad. We're more of a blue state. We're not really blue. I guess we're purple. And there's a lot of right wingers here. But I don't foresee any problem. I've never had problems voting here before. Although in my last polling place, and the last place I lived at, it did seem, because I guess there is a law. I don't know if there's a state law or federal law, but and these laws are what laws? But where you can't post campaign like signage within a certain amount of feet of the polling place. And I remember when I walked into my polling place out in the parking lot. So I don't know where they're counting the feet, the barrier. But as you walked into the parking lot, there was just sign after sign after sign after sign of like pro-Trump shit and pro-Republican candidates, all kinds of signs at my polling place, out in the parking lot. So maybe that was out far enough, but I did take video of it. I did post it on YouTube, but I just thought it just didn't seem right that they could do that. But apparently they were doing it, But I don't know. All I can do is vote and hope for the best. And I know that sounds weak. But I don't know what else to do. And other than being observant. And if I see something that doesn't look right, I can document it with a video, and I can send that to whatever authorities we can send it to. I think our state AG, I think our attorney general is Aaron Ford, and he's running for governor. He might want to know that kind of thing. But anyhow, so I don't know what else to do other than just to vote and just be as observant as I can to make sure that the proper things are happening or things are being done properly. Mad Max says, yeah, I just don't understand how a legitimate vote was overruled by SCOTUS. How can that be? The people have the power and not be ignored by corrupt judges. And I really hope that if we do get back, this is going to be in 2029, but hopefully we have the White House, we have the Senate, we have the House of Representatives, and I really, really hope that we expand the court to 13. I know there are other suggestions on what to do, but let's just say for the sake of argument, whatever, I hope that they expand to 13 and we start making up for lost time and getting judges in there that are good, fair, honest judges and not just Republican mouthpieces or whatever. Big Hook says SCOTUS legitimacy is completely gone. Their ruling never makes sense, and I wouldn't say never, but and go against all logic and rational thinking, like saying racism no longer exists, and that racial and partisan gerrymandering are the same thing. Bad Max says people would come into the record store I worked at, and they would hum part of a song or say some of the lyrics, and it was expected that the guy behind the counter knew who did that song. Laughing out loud, it was fun. Dan Lambert says it's sad to think that every FBI agent had to swear allegiance to Donald Trump to keep their job. He didn't have to ask the Secret Service, though. They deleted their texts for free. Is that true that every FBI agent had to swear allegiance to Donald Trump? Dan Lambert, I misnamed that tune. DPD says we are living in a world where the politicians are choosing us instead of us choosing them. My son was looking at his globe, picking out countries that he wants us to relocate to. That's kind of funny, but it's sad. I mean, yeah, it's sad, but that's where we're at. Because I've thought about it too. There's my speaking of puberty. No, I hear like the Netherlands and all these Danish places are really the happiest places on earth. I don't know if I want to live. That seems really cold there. Even Canada might be too cold. But hey, and better than living under a dictator. So my sorry ass might just have to put up with a little bit of coldness. Better than living under a fucking tyrant, a dictator, right? Big Hook says the originalist interpretation is just white supremacist interpretation, following the wishes of their billionaire oligarch masters who feather their nests very well for SCOTUS conservatives. And this whole originalist thing, the being an originalist, is all bullshit because they only use that when it's to something to their advantage. They're not, but if it's something that they want to, they disagree with, they want to change, then all of a sudden they throw originalism out the window. Animore says, I've been doing the same thing about looking at the globe. DVD, Canada is a beautiful country. I know, but it's if Minnesota and Wisconsin is cold and as shit, and Canada is even further north than that, I'm just saying, it must be a pretty cold place in the wintertime. Global warming notwithstanding, it's still pretty cold up there. Is that the correct use of notwithstanding? I don't know. Anyhow, guys, I guess I should let you guys go and let myself go and get on with my day. Try to get down to the cab company, do some cab driving. I did not work last night. I took the night off. I know. I should not have, but I did. But I think I'll get to work today because I got bills to pay. Gotta get to work today. Got some bills to pay. It's the only way that I don't know, can do something. Big Hook says, well, let me go. I guess I skipped. Josh C says you get used to the cold where you can freeze an egg on the sidewalk. Mad Max says, yeah, I have thought about going back to the UK or Canada too, but I'm stubborn about wrong happening and want to do something about it. What that is, I don't know yet. Big Hook says the fix is in and heavily financed. The Heritage Society and Leonard Leo have a several billion-dollar war chest to use to bribe and use for television ads, lobbed against opponents that they hate. Mad Max says the majority of Canada's population lives within 100 miles of the Canada-U.S. border. Yeah, because any further than that, and it's really fucking cold. But as far as the Heritage Foundation and Leonard Leo having billions of dollars, and all of them, all of the oligarchs, we're going against Bezos and Musk and all these motherfuckers. And like I've said before, what we have that they don't have is we have the numbers of people. And if we could get together, if the people could get together, if we could come together and get together as one voice in solidarity, if we could ever get on the same page, then all that money won't amount to a hill of beans. But that's the thing. That's the challenge, is getting us together, getting us to come together. And that's the one thing that these billionaire oligarchs and these Leonard Leo assholes fear the most, is us coming together. That's why their whole game is divide and conquer. It's all about divide and conquer, because they cannot, if we all stood together, they would not have a chance, no matter how much money they throw at it. So that's what we need. That's why no kings is important. That's why general strikes are important. That's why the Trucker John show is important. We need 5 billion people on here in Trucker John. We need to come together, stand up against these oligarchs. We need to show them that we are united in our cause to stand up against the money. But their game is divide and conquer, and they've been doing a good job at that with Fox News and right-wing media. Rush Limbaugh, who's dead, but we still have right-wing media, blowtorches out there, 24/7, 365, just getting their right-wing propaganda out there. Divide and conquer. As long as they can divide and conquer, then they will succeed. So we need to unite. So what would it be? Divide and conquer is their thing. We need to unite and conquer. We need to unite and conquer. We need to unite and conquer the goddamn oligarchs. All right, guys. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're watching this either now or on the replay, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate you for doing that. And we might have some special guests popping in. Oh, I'm the special guest. Thank you, Chugger John. I feel so honored. I just want to say, Chugger John, I heard your new song, and it's pretty catchy. I like it. I'm digging it. I feel like I'm at a hoedown. You old hoe. But make sure to check out. In fact, I think Chugger John should probably play that on the outro, even though he didn't really make an outro. He might just have to replay the intro. But that's a catchy little song. So I'm going to put in a request, Chugger John. I'm going to put in a request that you play your new song on the outro. All right? Because I want to hear it again. Oh, I think that's a great idea, Tough Cookie. I'd love to hear that song again. So yeah, on the outro, even if you don't have anything prepared, Chugger John, like a special outro, just replay the intro. No one will even notice probably that that's the intro until the part where it says, that the show's starting. But yeah, I think you should replay the intro, because there might be some people in here that haven't heard the new song yet. It's worthy of a second listen, I think. Also, just remember, Chugger John did post that in this community post and on Discord if you want to see the video of it. But that's an excellent idea, Tough Cookie. Hey, great to see Tough Cookie and Paul the purple beard guy get along. They're getting along. They seem to be getting along. Anyhow, guys, thanks so much for being here. I do appreciate you. Thank you, DPD. We only had 1 out of 5 on our goals. The goal ended. Doggone it. I'm trying to, you ever watch Tommy on Political Punk? He gets like 30 every night. I'm only asking for 5 Super Jazz. Anyhow, guys, thanks for being here. Stay tuned. I'm gonna replay the outro. I'm gonna replay the intro. Because and if you guys want to hear the new song I made, I know Big Hook hates AI, but I don't know how to write music and I don't know how to play an instrument, so I have to utilize the AI to make a little song, make a little ditty. I hope you'll check it out though. And what else we got going? Oh yeah, that's right. We got Words of Wisdom also. So we're gonna do Words of Wisdom. Make sure you got something to write with, and then we'll do the Words of Wisdom, and then we'll replay the intro. All right, so you guys ready? Okay, so for today's Words of Wisdom, if you have your pen and paper ready, I hope you're ready. Write this down.
I don't mourn when evil men die. I don't feel sad and I don't cry. Sometimes I wonder why it takes so long for evil men to die. But I want you to know that when you go, you won't be missed. And the ground where you'll lay, we're all gonna take a big giant piss. And for your end, we all anticipate, without any love and too exhausted to hate. Your long-lasting legacy will be one of disgrace and shame. Throughout the annals of history, your name will shrink, you'll lose your fame. And as you lay there drawing in your final breath, just know that you made us happiest in death. You will not be thought of kindly, and you won't be missed. And like I said before, on the ground you'll gonna take a big old piss.
It's not hard to imagine Donald Trump leading us into a war just because somebody got under his very thin skin. Donald Trump's ideas aren't just different, they are dangerously incoherent. They're not even really ideas, just a series of bizarre rants, personal feuds, and outright lies. This is not someone who should ever have the nuclear codes, because it's not hard to imagine Donald Trump leading us into a war just because somebody got under his very thin skin. We cannot put the security of our children and grandchildren in Donald Trump's hands. We cannot let him roll the dice with America. This is a man who said that more countries should have nuclear weapons, including Saudi Arabia. He believes we can treat the U.S. economy like one of his casinos and default on our debts to the rest of the world, which would cause an economic catastrophe far worse than anything we experienced in 2008. He says he doesn't have to listen to our generals or admirals, our ambassadors, and other high officials.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So I style of Easter, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again.
Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues.
From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.